What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We'll See You Later podcast, episode 41, brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the planet. Also brought to you by Liberton Home Repairs, quality home repair service you can trust here out of Little Rock. Give them a call, 405-600-8363. That is Liberton Home Repairs. Episode 41, Will.
I'm back. How you doing?
Willie Ray is back. We are here to talk all things sports and entertainment from our point of view, the fan point of view. We're heavy this episode in Razorback sports. We're not going to drift too far away from it today, if any. We're going hardcore because SEC basketball has finished. We are about to start the tournament. Baseball SEC play is about to start this weekend, and we've got a lot to talk about, brother.
Yeah, why wouldn't we stick with Arkansas this week, considering the fact that we had a 7-0 week?
7-0, baby. Good week to be a hog.
We sat here a week ago talking about how big a week it was for the basketball team in particular, but also the fact that baseball played 5 games this week, 5-0, and we'll get to that later. Basketball deserves top billing, but baseball also only had one game go the full 9 innings. Every other game got called mercy rule. The boys were bopping. There won't be much complaining on the podcast.
Not at all. So Arkansas basketball, we talked about it. They beat Vandy. And then going into the weekend, I don't know if Will said, so I won't put words in his mouth, but I said if Arkansas beats Mississippi State with a 2-0 win there, that one of those wins, to me, eliminated how bad the South Carolina loss would be to the committee. Arkansas wins 93-92 in a nail-biter for the ages.
Right. A game that felt like Arkansas dominated. They tried to cough it up.
They did. It was a great 30 minutes.
Arkansas with a up to 16-point lead, and then obviously with the final margin being as thin as it possibly could be, there was a furious comeback fueled by Arkansas turnovers, but that's neither here nor there. Golly, big week to get off the mat after an inexcusable performance at South Carolina.
Yes.
An inexcusable performance to get off the mat. You had to get one, but in all reality, if you're a team that's worthy of a spot in the NCAA tournament, you find a way to win both these games this week.
And they did.
That was huge. Props to Coach Calipari. Props to these guys for, look, your inconsistencies drive me crazy, but at the end of the day, when it's time to get off the mat and when it's time to band together and get something done, I think they're plenty tough enough. And that's what bothers me about inexcusable losses like a losing by 20 on the road to South Carolina, losing to a bad LSU team should not have happened. Losing to Oklahoma, I feel like should not have happened.
Bubble team, too.
I really feel like there's going to be a team in this NCAA tournament, which we can start talking about it. I don't care what the projections say. Arkansas has now 6 quad 1 wins. They're not a bubble team. They're in.
It's just where.
They're in. It's just where. We can start talking about whether it's a 10-7 matchup, whether it's 11-6, whether it's a 9-8.
Yeah.
There's going to be somebody on that line that says, I have to play Arkansas in the first
round. And we will be the underdog.
Right. I have to play Arkansas in the first round. That's not your normal 10. That's not your normal 11. It's not even your normal 8 or 9. Arkansas had Final Four talent all year. That's not me talking. That's the pundits talking. Also had Final Four talent all year. They just haven't put it together consistently. Still haven't.
Yeah, they
still haven't. As far as avenging the South Carolina loss, we can skip ahead to the SEC tournament because with Georgia beating Vanderbilt, Arkansas got up to the 9th spot in the SEC standings, and that put them in the noon game kicking off the SEC tournament this Wednesday against that very South Carolina team ranked at the back end of this tournament. You have to set things right.
Yeah,
Arkansas's in the tournament, win or lose, but you have to set things right here. It cannot sit well with you if you truly are a team that has the pride, that has the mentality, that has the dog you to make a run in the tournament. It should not sit right that you got punked by this team.
I agree. Quick recap other than 93-92, that game was incredible to watch. Hogs shot the ball so well from all aspects of the floor. We end up finishing 31 of 56 for 55%, 9 of 21 from 3 for 43%, 22 of 27 from the free throw line, 81%, 41 rebounds, 12 more than Mississippi State. 12.
Now,
in all aspects of the game, we had them. Now, the turnover margin is where, and we got up by 16, started getting sloppy, and not only sloppy, tired. When you're running 6 deep, they want to say 7, but it's really 6 guys really rotating through. Brazil was absent the entire first half because of the foul trouble. Needed him late, got him late, was great, but Billy Richmond was getting a massage gun to his abs. They're so cramped. They're all cramping. So the guts, the grit to not roll over, but also, you had that 16-point cushion that we watched evaporate, and actually we were losing in the last few minutes of the game. For DJ Wagner to bury a 3, and I thought
it was up in the air.
It was.
That Arkansas had fallen behind with less than a minute left.
Yes, and then DJ hitting the dagger I thought it was over when he hit that 3. And then for their guy to come back and just answer was absolutely insane. We actually screwed ourselves with the Trevin Brazil crap at the very end. So to start the last possession of the game, which wasn't the last, there was 33 seconds on the clock, but we had a 30-second shot clock. And then we had a bailout with Trevin. And if he throws a lob to Adu, or at least throws it to Adu, we have a put up dunk with.
I was going to say it didn't need to be a lob. It just
get the
give
ball.
It up.
But Trevin went to the rack and missed it. There's only been 3 or 4 seconds off the clock taken. Ball hits the rim. We get the rebound, goes down to 20. So we went from 33 seconds in the game with a 30-second shot clock and the opportunity to just end it or go into overtime to now there's 26 seconds left and a 20-second shot clock.
You have 2 options.
We gave him 6 seconds.
You have 2 options there. Arkansas did neither one of them. The 2 options there are back it out, set up your offense, and take the last shot.
Yes.
Or score there. Notice I said score. I didn't say shoot. If you shoot, you better score.
Or get fouled, something.
The one thing you cannot do is what Arkansas did. Shoot and miss.
Yes.
Brazil frustrates me because there were really 2 options there. The easier option would be give the ball to Adu. It's a dunk. But, hey, Trevin, nobody comes to the game to see you shoot layups. Go around the guy and dunk the basketball.
Or go through something. Get fouled. He doesn't.
It was 2-on-1, so you
was a
dribble
2-on-1.
around him and dunk the basketball.
It was it flipped it from a 3-second differential to a 6-second differential, which in basketball is an eternity. Then they turn around and get fouled with Adu, and that's the scariest thing you can do.
Now, props to Nelly Davis on that last possession to set up Adu. He ran the shot clock down as low as you possibly could, made a great pass. Mm-hmm. And Adu gets fouled. That's less than ideal.
Yes.
For him to be the one going to the free throw line. He's going to get his flowers here in a second because Jonas Adu must have heard us last week crapping all over him because the guy
had the best game of the year.
I mean, I see you, big dog.
I love it. Ends up Adu hits 1 of 2. There's 8 seconds left, 7 seconds left in the game. They come down, no timeouts for Mississippi State. Billy Richmond
made a hell of a play to break that up.
Blocks it. And then Adu, speak of the amazing game, unlucky situation there. Adu's the one who bats it after it's been blocked right to the other guy.
The one thing that cannot happen is the ball gets batted to a pretty much wide open.
That was no one was near.
Right. Pretty much wide open South Carolina post player who panics.
Yeah, it's quick. He catches it. He's probably got a second or less left. When he throws it up, I'm like, if this is how we lose and end our season, this is so typical. And he short-armed it just a smidge, hits the backboard, hits the rim, doesn't drop in. Arkansas holds on 93-92 in a nail-biter that shouldn't have been, but we will take it.
Yeah. You can it's it's a good feeling because this team, with the way they played this week, deserved for that to go their way.
Yes.
They earned the right to have something go their way. That doesn't just happen. I'm not saying that basketball gods or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just, if you play hard and you play well, those breaks seem to go your way. Arkansas earned those breaks at the end of the game. Tell you what, I did not see this week playing out this way. Because if you go back and you listen to the podcast we did last week, both of us agreed in questioning, where does Arkansas get their offense from?
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know shit because both games this week, Arkansas scored
90.
basically 90.
Yeah.
Their offense was clicking, humming, shooting at a high percentage. That, again, goes back to when this team's backs against the wall, they find a way.
Yeah.
They find a way. These are, you hear Cal talk about it all the time. The fact that you have a short rotation should make for a happy team.
Yeah.
Because those guys know, I'm going to play. I'm going to be able to play through mistakes. I'm going
frees you up.
It does. Now, Trevor Brazil, and I love the way that Cal phrased this. I love it. First of all, flowers to Trevor Brazil. This looks like pre-knee injury lottery pick Brazil this week.
He does.
And I'm so happy for the kid.
I love it.
I'm so happy for the kid because here's the thing. Somebody has finally told him, you're an athletic freak. You can out jump. You can outreach anybody in the building. Every rebound belongs to you. If this ball bounces off the rim, it belongs to you. Go get it. His rebounding has been what has freed everything up. Now, the first half of the Mississippi State game, he gets too cheap. He's reaching in within 3 minutes of the game starting.
Yeah.
You can't do that, man. You can't get 2 fouls reaching in. And the way Cal summed it up, we're 3 minutes in. It's not a touchdown. It's 2 points.
Yeah.
I got to have you. That can't happen. He learned his lesson because in the second half, he was dynamite.
Yeah. Which ended up actually, as much as we hated it, helping us a ton when it came down to the
props need to go to the rest of the team for holding down the fort while he was out for 17 minutes. It was huge for Arkansas to go into the half with the foul trouble they had because Avicii's had 2 fouls as well.
Yeah.
Big Z had 2 fouls as well. So they were ultra thin and go into halftime either tied or with a slim lead.
I think we had a little lead there.
Yeah. To be able to keep your head above water in time for the boys to get back in the second half was probably the difference in the game.
Yeah. Gave us some the fresh legs, and they were the big boy legs. Helped a lot. But Adu. Well,
Good to answer see you, big dog.
To answer the question that we had was I don't see where we're going to get the offense. I think the answer is everywhere.
Right.
That's how it's going to be by committee. It's not going to be, you're going to have someone like an Adu maybe go off, but it was everywhere.
It was the most evenly distributed offense that we've seen all year because, Adu had 21 and 10, but he wasn't the high scorer. DJ Wagner went off for 24. Everybody contributed. Billy Richmond's energy was off the charts. You may not see that in points per game, but when he's in the game.
You had Big Z and Carter Knox had 6. Brazil had 11. Davis had 15. Wagner 24. Adu 21, and Billy Richmond 10.
Yeah, when Billy Richmond's in the game. It's not hard for me to pick my favorite player. When he's in the game, this guy's unbound energy. But also, when you see how fast he gets up and down the court, you figure he's got to be a little scat point guard. This is a big dude.
He's huge.
This is a big human. Freak athlete. This is a Calipari freshman. These Cal freshmen are different.
Billy Richmond cracks me up sometimes because athleticism through the charts. Energy, never turn it off. Please, I love it. But he reminds me whenever we get sporadic and we're really funking up a game and he's in the middle of it. He reminds me of the kid's first taste of sugar.
Yeah.
Because he's just everywhere.
So
he's throwing the ball across the court. It's unbelievable watching him play.
You can see the wheels turning at least once a game Billy Richmond gets the rebound, and you can tell as soon as he gets the rebound what's about to happen. I'm getting the rebound, and I'm going coast to coast, and I don't care if you're open. I don't care if there's 4 guys standing. He's going coast to coast. There's going to be a layup or a dunk at the other end, and more often than not, it works out. But you can almost see it from the rebound. It's
go time.
We're going coast to coast. Get out of the way. And here's the thing: he must do it in practice because the rest of the team kind of parts and gets out of the way. Like, oh, there goes Billy. It
cracks me up.
It's frantic, but it's not out of control. It's really weird to watch, but it's fun. I'm so happy for guys like, obviously DJ Wagner wasn't at Arkansas last year. So we were not privy until he came to Arkansas how much flack he caught from being the number 1 recruit in his class, how much flack he caught from Big Blue Nation, the Kentucky fan base, how much flack he caught last year. When he was injured most of the year, he had a bad ankle. I'm so happy for DJ Wagner. I'm so happy for Trevin Brazil has dealt with a lot of the same stuff. But we cannot overemphasize enough. This game was about one person emerging, and it's Jonas Adu.
Absolutely. Flowers to the big man.
I think we can safely say, and he said as much, he's healthy now, which is crazy because a week ago we were talking about, we knew you can watch him play and you can see he's been damaged goods from the beginning. He's been hurt. He had to have his foot operated on. I heard him say post-game that for most of the season his foot is hurt so bad he could barely move. That makes sense. You look like you could barely move.
Yeah.
Now, this was explosive. There was fight there. You could tell he was feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for the kid. I am happy for us as a fan base. At the end of the day, we just wanted this team to get into the NCAA tournament and see what happens.
They're in.
Now all bets are off. Put your dancing shoes on. I will say it's not a must win, but for a mentality standpoint, you need to beat South Carolina on Wednesday. So we just stop this discussion. If you win anything after that, gravy, but you got to beat South Carolina on Wednesday.
Yep.
If you're a winning team that deserves to have this discussion about you, have the mentality to beat a team that you are clearly better than.
Yeah, this got to be a revenge game. My heart wants to win the game. And I think that Will's completely correct. I didn't want us to win the game just because of seeding in the tournament. I want to be the 11. That's just me. I want to play the 6. I want to play the 3. I want to get to the 2.
I'd even be okay with 10. I would.
Yeah, I just want to get to. I think that we can beat a 3 seed more comfortably than a 2, but it's whatever.
Let's be real. If you're talking to me, now I know how Jeremy feels, but if you're talking to me, I don't even mind the 8-9 matchup because I feel like if we get through and we face a 1,
that's not Auburn.
That's not exactly. Or even if it is, Arkansas was a break here, a break there from winning at Auburn.
Yeah, true.
Talent-wise, a 1 seed doesn't scare me. Now, this same Arkansas team has the capability of having a guy go like 0 for 17 from the field, and then it doesn't matter who you play.
That's right.
So inconsistency matters. I don't need you to be consistent all season. Clearly, you haven't been. I just need you to be consistent for the next month. Just be consistent for the next month. The talent is there to go on a run, regardless of where you're seated. And this fan base wants that so bad. And I want all the smoke. I don't care. So this fan base, let me tell you what they want. They want Calipari out of the first round and Kentucky out of the first round. They want Cal out of the first round and Kentucky bounced in the first round. Because all we've heard all offseason from these fans who, it's weird. The obsession.
You're talking about Big Blue Nation.
Kentucky fan. It's weird. I want you to have to live with the fact that this coach who you said couldn't get out of the first round gets out of the first round with a new team. And then your new coach who has just as many NCAA tournament wins as Jeremy and I do gets bounced in the first round. And then you have to watch us play next week.
Also, the reason we're in the tournament is because of the game at Rupp Arena.
Oh, it turned everything around.
That game against Kentucky, we will look back at on this season
turned
as
everything
the moment.
around.
And we talked about this for weeks. This is why we were so frustrated early. It's going to take one game for this team to just right the ship. And it's so fitting that it was at Kentucky.
And to hear these fans go, oh, it was Cal's Super Bowl. It was Cal's Super Bowl. Yeah, because Cal is the one who sold out their arena and Cal was the one who had more people show up than ever in the history of that arena to watch your team play a last place team.
And you were camping out,
right,
losing your mind
to
for
watch
this.
your team play a last place team. Now you tell me who seemed more fired up for it. And then to watch you guys like making excuses and crying and talking about, oh, Cal this, Cal that. It was, man, this thing worked out for everybody involved. It did. It worked out for everybody involved. But what they can't deal with is the fact that before they could fire him, he left them.
Yep.
So now he can tell everybody, rightfully so, that he left Kentucky to come to Arkansas.
Yep.
And that burns their ass.
Also, the ticket sales for that Kentucky Arkansas last place Arkansas team was like $300 to $500 per ticket.
Right. It was the biggest crowd in the history of Rupp Arena. Rupp Arena we're talking about. I'm not talking about some high school arena out here. This is Rupp Arena we're talking about. The biggest crowd in the history of that hollowed arena.
Unreal.
To watch your team play a last place team. Now, let me ask you something. If Eric Musselman was still the coach at Arkansas, are you selling out Rupp? No. You're the scolded ex-girlfriend.
No,
and you wanted to see him get beat.
You did, and it didn't happen, and you saved our season. So, to be honest with you, I was like, why did they not put Kentucky on our schedule twice, doing a home and away? Now I'm so glad they didn't.
Right.
Because it's got to sit there and just fester for a year.
Look, I don't care. What I have always been is a petty bastard. Okay? So how it goes, nothing's really changed for me. I'm rooting for Arkansas, and then I'm rooting for whoever's playing Kentucky. Because I want that moment of them going, it's not that Cal couldn't get out of the first round. We can't get out of the first round. I want that to happen so bad. Nothing against Mark Pope. I think he's a decent guy.
But it's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky. And it's you guys. You guys are insufferable.
So Arkansas currently, this is the way that the tournament will play out. We're going to play at noon every single day. We win.
I don't mind the consistency.
No, it's noon every day. We have South Carolina Wednesday. We will have Ole Miss Thursday. Then we will have Auburn Friday. Tough.
Right.
And then that's when it can get dicey, I guess, if we get past Auburn. I just don't know how. I don't see it being 3 days in a row with 7 guys.
Right.
Seeing them leave it all on the court after one game, I don't know how they would wake up the next day and do it again. But let's just say they did. Then Saturday at noon, we will play either Tennessee, Vanderbilt, A&M, or Texas. And let's say we win that one and we go to the championship Sunday at noon, it will be Kentucky, Missouri, Florida, or Bama, more than likely to make it through. Those are the top seeds on that side of the bracket.
Here's my goal looking at this week, because Arkansas baseball plays a midweek game tomorrow. If Arkansas can just get past South Carolina on Wednesday, they give me a week where there's Arkansas sports on every day after today. You got Tuesday midweek baseball, Wednesday SEC tournament. You win that game, you'll have Thursday SEC tournament. And then if you get to Friday, SEC baseball, at least. I need you to take care of business just to give me direction all week long.
Currently, he has, in Joe Lenardi's ESPN bracketology, 13 SEC schools getting in, which I think is a record.
Very easily.
Here's
the more impressive part is to say 13 SEC schools getting in, which means only 3 don't.
Auburn is the number 1 overall, according to Joe Lenardi. I don't think there's any argument here. In Auburn's bracket, you will have, according to Joe Lenardi, you will have Kentucky is the other SEC school in Auburn's bracket as a 3 seed. In the West predictions, you have Florida as the number 1 overall seed. Missouri is a 5 seed in that bracket, and A&M is a 3 seed, and Ole Miss is a 7 seed. They loaded that up with SEC.
Right.
Then they don't want to see an SEC Final Four.
No, they did. No, bounce them all out of here.
The Eastern bracket prediction right now, Duke is the number 1 overall seed. Vandy slides into a 9 seed possibly there. And Georgia is a 10, and Tennessee is the 2.
All right, so think about that for a second. Arkansas went on the road this week and beat a projected 9 seed at home. This league is so loaded.
And then it comes to our bracket. Remember, this is all speculation and guesses. Houston is the number 1 seed in our bracket. Mississippi State would be the 8 seed in that bracket, so they'll play Houston right out of the gate, the team that we just beat as an 8.
If they get out of the 8-9 match.
That's true. They're playing Creighton as of the guess. They have Oklahoma playing a play-in game as a 12 seed. They also have Alabama as the 2 seed in this bracket. And they have Arkansas as the 10 seed. Can you guess who we would play in the first as the 7?
Is it someone I would know?
Mm-hmm. It's a blue blood.
7.
It's a blue blood.
Gonzaga?
No, Kansas.
Nice. Calipari and Self right out of the gate. Box office. I hope that happens.
So, as of right now, we are a 10 seed playing a 7 as a guess. Wins, losses all across the country are going to change
Spoiler alert.
this.
Spoiler alert. That's not going to be correct.
It can't be.
We
could still be a 10,
be correct.
but that's just because someone's going to make a run that's not supposed to be in this and fudge this whole thing up.
That's the whole thing about Lenardi,
love.
too. That's the whole thing about Lenardi and why I jokingly said, how do you get that gig? He's like a weatherman. The dude can be wrong and nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, if someone makes a run, you're not going to get it. But as of right now, they have us as a 10. If we win, I'm okay trying to make a run here. I get more scared about the fatigue factor of 7 guys. And there is a guy that might be coming back. I don't know if you've heard of him, Will. He posted on his Instagram story the back of his jersey, and he's sitting on the bench. Number 2, Boogie Flant.
Now, Boogie, I hope you're smart enough to know what people are going to think when you post stuff like that. Don't play with me, son. Don't play with my emotions.
I'm hoping that Boogie's kind of foreshadowing something. The good news about all this is we watched the game this past weekend, and we saw Adu on the bench. He was still kind of limpy. What sucks for Adu's situation is it's a knee injury. So even if he can come back, what's the explosiveness?
There's a period, too, of getting back into basketball shape.
Yes. And
if you can't run, you can't get back into basketball
exactly.
shape.
So if Adu decides that he has to come back, he's going to be super limited as it is, more than likely. And he still might give us a little spark that we need for a few minutes. But that's going to be a tough one, a tough ask for him.
And with a knee, it's the mental aspect of, can the knee handle this?
Exactly.
There hasn't been enough time for him to trust the knee again. I don't see this happening.
Right. And Thero, all you want to think about with him is explosiveness. And that knee at any moment can go. I'm not sure if it's that serious, but that's scary.
The mental aspect's the most important part of it.
Boogie, on the other hand, is a thumb, and he had surgery, 2 months ago? Month ago?
I don't know if you've ever tried to run, but I don't use my thumbs.
Right. So conditioning-wise, Boogie's going to be great. It's going to be, is he in basketball shape? Can he do some of the things with the hand? To be honest with you, I say yes, because he played with it already injured. He thought it was jammed the whole time.
The key term here for Boogie is rhythm.
But my thing is, he was still our leading scorer and played 2 more games with this situation, thinking his thumb was jammed, and they taped it, not knowing that he had torn a ligament.
I don't think it's a question of whether he could play or not. I think that we're dealing with a situation here where, is it smart? Because if it's not, don't do it.
Right.
But also, you have to understand what Arkansas would require from Boogie Flan is not what Arkansas required from Boogie Flan before he got hurt.
No.
Arkansas needs, for lack of a better term, Arkansas needs bodies at this point. I would think that you would put him in a position where he's spelling a DJ Wagner, possibly spelling an Ellie Davis.
Yeah.
Just filling minutes and hopefully leading to fresher legs
late
in the second half.
But also, what better body to put out there than your best player? Like, that's the crazy part is, like, we're not asking, like, a Devo Davis to be a body from an injury. It's a Boogie Flan lottery pick kid who will get the second part of a rotation and play against the other team's twos as well. And he has the opportunity to sneak up and get you 10 to 14 to 16 points.
Right.
And you don't even see it coming.
It's not a deal where he would have to really worry about getting into the flow of the offense. It's you put him in sort of in like a Billy Richmond situation where you put him in and you say, go.
Exactly. And he's going to ball out.
Be a volume
But
shooter.
if you get 10 from Boogie off the bench, it's a bench player now, for now. If Theo didn't hurt a knee here and it was like a back spasm thing, can you imagine a fully healthy Arkansas team just going into March?
Well, I've had to imagine it all year because it hasn't really happened. I mean, you look at go back to the Jonas Adu situation this week. It's clear that he's been hampered all year. Arkansas has never been fully healthy. Yeah. And I'm not making excuses because you got to win either way. But those aren't opinions; those are facts.
Oh yeah, give us the one redemption game, the revenge game.
Have the mindset to go out and take care of business the way that you should.
I've semi-held on. I've been frustrated with this team, just like I'm sure they're just as frustrated. And we're all frustrated. I have semi-held on each time someone said we were gone from the tournament. I've said we can get in. It's just the road's tough, and this team is going to be frustrating to watch, which it has been.
It's wild to have the thoughts that we've had about this team throughout the year. Terms like soft have come into play. Terms like entitled have come into play. But then to hear not just any coach, but John Calipari tell them post-game that it's been the most rewarding year that he's had in all of his years as a coach because they're good kids and they play hard and they fought through adversity. It kind of makes you rethink using those buzzwords.
Yeah.
That, okay, he clearly sees something behind closed doors that I don't. It matters to these kids, so I have no problem getting behind them. What you can't do is the stuff on the floor that's inconceivable. Where Arkansas has literally had people go 0 for 15 in a game that they had to win. That can't happen. Arkansas has had guys miss 7 or 8 free throws individually. They've missed multiple layups in games. Those kind of things cannot happen because you're to the point now where it's a loss sends you home.
Yeah.
It's tournament season now. The loss sends you home. Whether it's in the conference tournament or the NCAA tournament, you can't. A loss is the end of it.
Yes. I will say this, and we will move on. Damn proud of them Razorbacks for not quitting.
Yeah.
Damn proud.
To think that this Arkansas team will be in a position to start 0-5 in 1-6 too in conference play, finish 8-10, possibly go into the NCAA tournament with 20 wins or more. It's not all seasons are created equally. These guys did not let go of the rope. This is a team that had to be rebuilt literally from the ground up. The future's so bright because there was the only 5-star that's left uncommitted. Nate Ament was at the game on Saturday, sitting with 5-star Arkansas signee Darius Acuff. This guy is the most dynamic scorer in a loaded class. Scores from all 3 levels. And I don't think I'm overstating this when I watch him play. Slim Reaper. There's a lot of Kevin Durant in there.
Yeah.
If a kid comes to Arkansas as a freshman, Calipari does not recruit freshmen to develop them. These guys are coming in to play and contribute right away. And to think that you can add those 3 to whatever little bit of talent that will come back from this year. And then Calipari's going to hit the portal and try to find those big physical bigs. Calipari, when he doesn't have to rebuild the roster from the ground up and he can complement guys that he already has, this is when, this first year is one of his best coaching jobs. It really is.
I had my doubts because of the press conferences during this struggle.
He's a little bit of a goofball.
But he's had to find something here, and the staff has done that. and they've done a hell of a job whenever they could have just let go of the reins.
In terms of dealing with people, I've never seen anybody better.
He's done fantastic.
And is he the best at X's and O's? No, but I think people shortchange him with that too. He's been really good at coming out of timeouts and drawing a play up to get somebody open. I had multiple thoughts this week where I would stop and think, and I'm really glad he's my basketball coach. I'm looking forward to March. I hope there's a run in there just to kind of put everybody on notice that, hey, this might not be the team that gets there, but Arkansas's coming.
Yeah. Moving on to our Diamond Hogs, who have been on a tear as of late. Out of the 5 games this week, 4 don't see a 9th inning. Hogs win 14-1 against Louisiana Monroe and then 15-3 midweek. And then Portland came into town. Not the best of teams, but still, they also know the blueprint. Everybody knows the blueprint on Arkansas. They're going to throw strikes. You better start swinging. Get the bat off the shoulder. I do
want to point out before you go into the stats for the Friday game and specifically offensively, the starting pitcher for Portland was the reigning pitcher of the year in his conference, and he had an ERA under 1.5. Let's just say those numbers did not match up with what you saw on Friday.
He looked good, but a little sidebar. I'm the stat guy, but Will really is. Will sends me this. Arkansas beat their 5 opponents this week by a total score of 64-11. This is baseball. And
Chucky Davalon.
Davalon scored 14 runs in 5 games. That's insane.
14 runs in 5 games from one guy. That's your leadoff hitter, but that's your leadoff hitter getting on base, setting the table, and then setting the table, but the guys behind him doing their chores.
Exactly. Friday game, Gabe Gackle comes in. Does give up early. It happens. They're going to jump on him, and he's throwing fine. Gabe goes 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. Steele Eves,
Lone Oak Jackrabbit.
He came in 1 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, or no, gave up 1 run and 4 hits and 1.
Steele Eves, I think, is somebody that they have big plans for beyond this season. You'll see Steele Eves in these kind of situations. For lack of a better term, mop up duty. Get the guy experience. He's got a live arm.
Hogs win 20-3. 31 at bats for the team. 20 runs, 13 hits, 19 RBIs, 6 walks, and 7 strikeouts.
Nate Thompson haters look away.
Something's brewing.
I understand. You're going to say, "Oh, well, it's not against stellar competition." It doesn't matter who those numbers are against. That's hard to do off a pitching machine.
Of course, the 3 guys you got to look at. Both Aloys combined for 7 RBIs. And then I think somebody wanted to get in on the action. Brent Iredale goes for 8 RBIs in this game.
With a multiple homer game. That first one hasn't landed yet.
No, I ran outside. I ran outside as soon as he hit it and see if it would come.
That first one hasn't landed yet, and then the oppo shot was probably more impressive. It got high enough to get up over the building.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the scouting report isn't really much on Brent Iredale. Strong. Sorry, guys. Jeremy had to pee. He'll be back in a second. So, I guess Arkansas baseball Twitter is listening to the podcast because they just sent out a breakdown series recap of the Portland series. Arkansas outscores the Portland Pilots 35-6 in 3 games. Out hits them 30-20. So an average of 10 hits a game. Home runs were 11 in 3 games to 1. It's an average of almost 4 bombs a game.
Yeah.
And strikeouts advantage Arkansas 27-19.
Telling you, these boys are built different right now. They're on something that we hadn't seen in a while, which is an early heater. We win 20-3 Friday, turn around Saturday, and Saturday was the game for me. Of Zach Root comes in, 3 hits on no runs, goes for 6 innings, I believe, 10 Ks, 1 walk. Looked phenomenal. Yeah. To be honest, he was the highlight of the weekend for the starting group. Hogs win 10-0, 29 at bats, 10 hits, 10 runs, 10 RBIs. Good way to draw it up there.
Right.
10-10-10. Colin Fisher came in and gave a good solid 1.1 2/3 with 1 hit, no runs, 1K.
Really great to have him back. I love the way he goes about his work. He's a strike thrower. Trust his stuff, let it eat. But going back, yeah, I don't care. I don't care what day of the weekend he pitches, and this is no disrespect to anyone else. This pitching staff is loaded. Everybody's good. Zach Root's the alpha of this pitching staff.
Yes.
I love watching him work.
It's also, you can see the senior. I think the difference between him and Gackle, they're very different pitching styles, right? But it's the composure.
Right.
I think that on the inside, sometimes Gabe Gackle can get frustrated. I don't think he's panicking. I think he's frustrated. I think Zach Root stays true to what he is.
One guy has been a starter in big time situations.
Yeah.
For years. Nothing's going to get him rattled. And the other guy, as talented as he may be, went from freshman closer sensation to Friday night starter.
Yeah. I think next year he will be even better. Gackle has got to return, so that's going to be great. Then the Hogs on Sunday have a regular game where they win 5-3. Vital Shees does start, goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 6 Ks. And then we had a committee of pitching come in, and Will sent me as well this Parker Coyle situation we've got going on.
You'll remember last week we talked about Parker Coyle, Mr. Immaculate, the immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, strikes out the side. But that is only a piece of what's going on with Parker Coyle. Parker Coyle, in 9 innings of work, doesn't have an ERA yet.
9 strikeouts, no walks, no ERA.
Coming out of the pen, hasn't walked anybody and doesn't have an ERA yet.
And averages a strikeout an inning.
Right. And quietly has been nails out of the bullpen. Arkansas kind of needed this because the way they were rolling over everybody, a lot of guys weren't getting any work. You count on the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings to get guys work at the end of games. There weren't any 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. There, the back end of the bullpen. This was the first time we'd seen Christian Fouch all week.
Yeah,
and Christian Fouch is your projected closer. The other guy in a competition with him for that position, Jackson Wiggins, hadn't seen him all week. That's the other side of the coin with this run rule. As a fan, it does make the game go faster, and not that I care about that. I love baseball. But I understand. I can look at it through the eyes of a casual fan. I understand why you do it. From a coaching standpoint, you can't like it.
Yeah.
Because guys need work. They just do. In particular, relief pitching. They're creatures of habit. They can't just sit and not work.
Right. So, Hogs have played 16 games, 15-1. We're going to kind of give a little spotlight before we go into SEC play. The guys who have played 10 games or more, we're going to give them a little bit of our flowers when it comes to the batting side of things, just to see where we're at. Leading the charge for us is obviously Kahio Aloy, who actually kind of had a down weekend. Had a good Friday.
No, he had a normal weekend.
Right. He had a great Friday. Saturday and I think Sunday he went over. But he's batting .468, 13 games, 47 at-bats, 22 hits, 29 RBIs, and 6 home runs. Coming in second, right behind him, big brother, Wahiva Aloy at .433. He's played all 16 games, so he's had 60 at-bats, 13 more at-bats, 26 hits for him, 18 RBIs, and 6 home runs.
Clearly, if I had to give a first third of the season, your non-conference player of the year, it's Wahiva. This guy at this time last year was pressing worse than any player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
As far as just trying to break out, trying to make an impact, this guy is comfortable. Everything looks like it's slowed down.
He is in his flow.
We're starting to see why everyone in the SEC, when Aloy hit the transfer portal from Sac State,
everyone went after him.
Why everybody in the SEC wanted him. Why it came down to either Arkansas or LSU. Because this was in there the whole time.
Yes. We've got 3 guys, Will, that are batting over 400 that have played at least 13 games. Brent Iredale is at 408. He's played all 16 games as well. 49 at bats, 20 hits, 25 RBIs, and 6 home runs.
And this guy, not that he wasn't great before, but he had a huge weekend. Had a huge weekend to kind of catapult his way back into the discussion. That top 4 or 5 for Arkansas right now in that lineup is Murderer's Row.
Yes.
And then you don't really have – you're looking to get – you've seen better swings out of Nolan Souza. You've seen better swings out of Kendall Diggs. You will get a competitive at-bat, every at-bat, out of Ryder Helfrich.
Yeah.
Whether the results there or not.
Thomas looked good.
Man, defensively and offensively, this guy draws walks. He gets on base. I love, and they've moved him to center, and that's where he needs to be. He seems
more.
He seemed out of position in left field.
Yeah,
he's a great center fielder, great defender, great athlete. I could not create a better 9-hole hitter in a lab than Justin Thomas.
Yeah. Fourth on the list for us, Logan Maxwell. He's got 10 games.
Your most professional hitter.
Yep,
and
10 games.
This guy didn't even play.
He did.
Sunday's game, didn't even play. I think your most professional hitter as far as no matter the situation, I'm going to hit the ball hard. I'm going to hit a line drive.
Yes. He's batting .351, 37 at-bats, 13 hits, 7 RBIs, 2 home runs. And rounding out our spotlight top 5 here, Charles Davalon. All 16 games, he's batting .333, 57 at-bats, 19 hits, 14 RBIs, and 3 home runs.
Props to Chuck Davalon. The one thing that had me worried, if you go back and watch the early season, they commented on it every game, that high leg kick.
Yeah, he changed it.
Where he not even a high leg kick, it's kind of a hanging leg kick. He would lift his foot up and kind of let it hang there until he went to swing at the pitch and then step into it. I hated it.
Do you think he had different styles, or they just changed it that quickly?
Well, he had different styles because he would stop doing it when he got to 2 strikes. So clearly it was a deal where, okay, if I need to focus up and make contact,
yeah,
I'm not going to do it with 2 strikes. Now, that defeats the purpose. To me, it's just if it makes it easier to focus up and make contact by not doing it, don't do it.
Yeah, give yourself all 3 cuts at it.
So props to the Arkansas coaching staff, because if you watch it, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, they took it away. I noticed that too. So moving forward, UCA tomorrow, big game. They're 5-8.
This is an in-state matchup for those of you guys that don't know.
Yep.
UCA, University of Central Arkansas,
right down the road from us.
In-state matchups are always cool. I'm so glad that they do that now.
UCA a couple years ago upset Vandy.
Right, and I'm glad to see UCA get into Baum Walker. This is always a cool atmosphere. I would not be surprised, because I heard that Vahiva Aloy was dealing with a little bit of tightness in his leg.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, they put Souza at short.
Yeah, towards the end of the game on Sunday, was dealing with a little bit of tightness. He didn't want to come out, but they shut him down quick. I'm glad to see that. Would not be surprised if you go ahead and
bench him.
Go ahead and sit this one out. But you're going good enough that.
And we got a big game this weekend. SEC baseball starts. Gives you goosebumps. Arkansas takes on 14-1, number 13 in the country, Ole Miss. Now, here's a couple key things. Ole Miss was in a tournament this year. It's not an SEC win or loss. I don't know why. I get it, but I don't. They did lose to Texas, who's now number 11, 10-0, right? But this was early in the season. It's their only loss on the year. They did beat, at the time, number 21, Arizona. They've now fallen. They're like 9-3, 9-4. They beat Arizona 2-1. And then they beat number now 10 Clemson in their only loss, 15-5 in that weekend. So I'm just saying this. What an opening weekend they had. Of all 4 teams in that were ranked. You had Arizona, you had Ole Miss in there, Texas, and Clemson, who are all top 25s at the time. What a way to start your season. And then to go 14-1 overall, having those 3 right out of the gate. Obviously, the other 11, 12 games are going to be powder puffs compared to that. But 14-1, number 13, Ole Miss. Will, thoughts?
Ole Miss is always tough, even when the record doesn't say so.
Absolutely.
We're a few years removed from them being the last team selected, literally the last team selected on selection Monday for college baseball. And they ran through the entire tournament and ended up winning the national championship. I think the Friday night guy is going to be Hunter Elliott. It seems like he's been there for 100 years.
Yeah, currently 3-0, 1.86 ERA and 19 innings of work, 25 Ks, 11 walks, 4 runs allowed, and 11 hits on the season.
I think there's a Tommy John year in there somewhere that was a lost season. Seems like he's been there forever. Veteran guy. Judd U. What's the U?
Udemar.
Judd mashes.
Yes, we've looked at this team, guys. Judd Udemar. We're not sure if he's an infield, where they're putting him, because they've got a couple guys that are listed at third base. So he's an infielder, batting .304, 56 at bats, 17 hits, 7 home runs, and 17 RBIs. And he mashes a ball.
Yeah, Judd hits the ball real hard.
So Judd's a stud. Judd the stud.
Shame on you.
They also got a guy named Luke Hill, who also is a third baser and infielder. They're both going to be playing. He's batting .396 with 48 at bats, 19 hits, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. And then their best guy right now, they have a guy. We have a couple in 400s. Ryan Mormon. Batting .407 with 59 at bats, 24 hits, 8 doubles and 6 home runs and 25 RBIs. Solid little squad here. They're the real deal. They have what we have. Maybe not the exact same, but they have the dudes like we have the dudes.
It's a typical SEC weekend. Everybody's got dudes.
Yeah, this weekend is when it starts to be like, we're okay with going 2-1.
Right.
You just want to go 2-1 and find your 2.
And here's the thing: if you go 1-2, it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you go 0-3, it's not the end of the world. This is the part where you have to use baseball logic once conference play starts.
Find your wins,
right?
Make them quality wins, but to go on the road in the SEC against a top 25 team, and just even if you go 1-2, is considered a pretty solid feat to happen.
Once conference play starts, conference baseball in particular, in a conference like the SEC, forces you to look big picture. And the final standings are all that matter.
You want to be, guys, if we're breaking this down, at worst, you want to be 16 or less. In the best side of things, you want to be 1-8. That's it at the end of the season. So if you have next to your name the number 8 or less, we're ecstatic. If you have 16 or less, we're still very happy.
Right.
And if you're not, you're just going to have to go win it in the hard way. But 9 to 16, we're happy. But if we go to the Supers, which is the second round of the playoffs, we're going to be going somewhere. If you're 1-8, you get to host both sides until you get to Omaha.
Conference baseball, more than any other sport, I feel like conference play for college baseball is a lot of scoreboard watching. That's part of what I love about it. The final standings are all that matters. If you finish in the top 3 or 4 of the conference, you're probably going to be a national seed and hosting all the way to Omaha.
Yeah.
It's a big picture thing. You're not going to go 30-0. So buckle up, ride the wave. It's fun.
Yeah, you start looking at it. The SEC right now, 4 of the top 5, the top 4 teams in the country are SEC. LSU remains at 1. Tennessee remains at 2. Arkansas remains at 3. Georgia moves up to 4. Florida State moves up to 5. North Carolina falls to 6. Florida at number 7. Oregon State 8. Oregon 9. Clemson 10. Texas and Oklahoma are 11 and 12. Ole Miss 13. Wake Forest 14. UC Santa Barbara 15. Vandy 16. Alabama 17. Stanford 18. Somehow, some way, Texas A&M is 19. Dallas Baptist is 20. Troy is 21. Southern Miss is 22. Virginia is 23. Slowly falling. Coastal Carolina stays at 24, and Auburn drops to 25.
If you're catching the theme there's a lot of SEC. There's a lot of ACC. I want to make a joke to say check on your Aggie friends. Hey, they dropped another one yesterday. I want to say check on them, but we talked about this off air. it's still going to set up great for them because they're as talented as anybody. And
Yes.
even if they end up being, they're going to be, if they don't right the ship and they end up being a 2 or 3 in somebody's regional, they're a nightmare 2 or 3.
Yes.
They're a nightmare 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah, if you get Texas A&M, you might get them on the weekend here in the SEC. But if they can right that ship, which they were already in a weird spot early, and then they lose their best player, their third baseman.
That's after going through an offseason where one of the best coaches in the game skips town and goes to your state rival after taking you to the national championship series and within a win of winning the national championship, telling everybody, I'm not going to take another job. Less than 12 hours later, he takes another job. But then Gavin Grahovac goes down, who is maybe not your best player, but is definitely your most dynamic player and the guy that makes your team go. And they just haven't righted the ship. But if they do, I'm telling you, that is a nightmare 2 or 3.
100%. But looking at the top 25, 12 teams from the SEC. So each weekend it could be an Omaha game. Like, just letting you know, that's the level that you're at.
Right. You're getting a month and a half, 2 months, 10 weeks of
playoff baseball.
Of regional, super regional, College World Series type matchups.
It's exciting. So I'm just hoping on the road here that we can try to sneak 2. I'm okay with 1 for sure.
You've been around me long enough to know if you get the first 2, get greedy.
Yes.
I want to sweep.
I'm okay with that 100%.
But sweeps don't happen. If you get 2 or 3 in a conference season, you've had a really good conference slate. Sweeps don't happen.
No, and Arkansas has only done it one time where they've won every series.
And that had happened like one other time in the history of the league. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
Just to win a series.
This has been kind of the golden age of Arkansas baseball. You know, there's a Golden Spikes Award winner who you'll never see another season like that from a pitcher. Kevin Kopps was a damn unicorn. Like, that was on the tail end of the Andrew Benintendi stuff. Yeah, like
Blaine Knight goes undefeated.
Blaine Knight goes undefeated. You're within an out of the national championship. Isaiah Campbell almost has that exact same type year the next year as a Friday night guy. The Hagen Smith stuff was nutty. You've
been blessed. We have been blessed.
Right.
Now, the only thing that we've been missing is a national championship.
This kind of stuff doesn't happen. Prior to 2018, we were in that spot where you see the Auburns and I guess you could say the Mississippi States, where we were in that kind of perennial top 20, top 15, top 25 realm, and it's since kicked into high gear where we're one of the premier programs in America, the best program in America that doesn't have a national title yet.
Yes. 2-1, please, this weekend. Let's just kick it off right. Let's kick it off right and show people.
If we go 1-2 on the road, I don't want to hear you come back in here and be one of these chicken littles that says the sky is falling. It's not.
Or them.
Both of them. None of y'all.
I never panic until it's like you're not making it. If we're a 3 seed, to me, it's just like basketball. Get to postseason. We'll figure it out from there.
The fans listening, don't forget that the last time that Arkansas went to the College World Series, they went on the road to do it. Mm-hmm. If you're a 2 seed, you're a 3. It
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It just helps. It helps, yes. But we beat North Carolina at North Carolina to get into the World Series. Was that 2022?
2022 after an absolutely nutty regional in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Oh my goodness! I love watching those games.
I didn't. It barely even felt like baseball.
It was home run derby,
beer league softball.
It was nuts.
But just remember, ride the wave.
Enjoy it. That's going to do it here, guys. Oh, let's do a quick prediction. What are you thinking for the weekend?
3-0.
He's going to say a sweep. I'll go 2-1.
3-0. Arkansas sweeps.
I'll go 2-1.
And then we come in here thinking we're going to go 30-0. That's my prediction.
Will's going to walk in here with that big old puffed up chest. That's going to do it here, guys, at the We'll See You Later podcast, episode 41. Thank you so much for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the planet, and Liberton Home Repairs here in Little Rock. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we get out of here, 3 things to live by. Number 1, don't piss into the wind.
Done it.
Number 2, and hopefully this week, Hogs by 90. And 3, and probably the most important, never, ever, ever trust a fart. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bing, bang, boom. Dunzo.